Hey folks, welcome to the Wealth Transfer with TC. Today, I'm going to talk about a number of different subjects. I'm going to talk about Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia. I'm going to talk about CBDCs. I'm going to talk about Haiti. I'm going to talk about a number of other issues, I think, especially here in the United States that, we need to really start thinking about, prepping. All right. I'm also going to touch on Sandbox. Now, before I get into that, folks, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing information, giving you my thoughts and my opinions on that information. So if you guys like these videos that I make, the support links are down below in the description and also the About section of YouTube. The first thing I want to get into is Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia, right? Basically going there to beg for oil, even though we have all the oil. Here's the article here. Biden set to meet Saudi King Prince MBS after human rights rift, right? So now we're going to go there and beg for oil. Right now oil has been going down, and it's not, anybody who's trading, right? It's going to go up and down. I've shared with you guys a while ago that oil is volatile. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. And I also shared with you guys, because it's an election year, they're going to do everything that they can to bring down the price of oil. It's not rocket science, right? So I know that there are people prophesying out there, oh, gas is getting ready to go down. Of course, there have been people that have been talking about this for a lot longer than any prophecy dealing with oil prices, right? Because it's so volatile. It's going to go up, it's going to come down, it's going to reach its peaks, and we're still expecting a peak at some point from some of the prophetic words from Christopher Harris. It's not its time yet, and that time will come. One of the things that I'm looking for as I go back to Ken's story as he was going over Christopher Reed's prophecy dealing with the man tearing off a third of the $50 bill. You can see here, headline, the dollar drops 30% in value. Remember, I did a video about that, how ever since Biden has taken over, we've already lost over 30% of the value of the dollar. Mideast oil strikes deal with China instead of the U.S. Now, that's what I'm looking for. I think it's very possible Saudi Arabia is going to snub this president. The perfect storm, inflation reaches a new high. Okay, so we did in the last 40 years, inflation reached a new high. Food shortage crisis as wheat and bread imports at a stalemate. Now, we already know that there's a lot of countries that are not exporting a lot of their wheat anymore. They're trying to keep it in-house. All right, and riots and civil unrest, the citizens demand entitlement checks. And I shared with you guys, of course, because of inflation, because costs have risen, and then, all these companies are doing layoffs again. All right, you have all these tech companies laying off. All those people are going to have to go on unemployment. And eventually then unemployment's not going to be enough to pay for their bills. So they're going to be people. This is going to happen. All these things that I see right here, these things are going to happen, and they are happening. So I just wait to see what happens out of the meeting with Biden. Even if they do have deals struck, I still think that America is going to be snubbed some way, somehow. And if you look at this here, article here, preparing to apply for membership, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Egypt plan to join BRICS. We basically have a new axis and allies forming right now. All right. And, Turkey is supposed to be part of NATO and all this. And Turkey could care less about NATO and the United States. So this is so far comprised of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Right. So Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt, they all plan to join this group. These new alliances that are forming. Right. They want to get rid of the dollar as a reserve currency. Now, what I'm getting ready to read you is pretty crazy. The BRICS. The Brazil, Russia, India, and China idea was first conceived in 2001 by what? Who? Goldman Sachs, as a part of economic modeling to exercise and forecast global economic trends over the next half century. The acronym BRIC was first used in 2001 by Goldman Sachs in their Global Economics paper number 66. The world needs better economic BRICS. All right, so that is actually pretty crazy. This is all about bringing down the United States and bringing down the West, right? And we are already seeing that here with the United States. This country's so divided, and, you can't take out America from the outside. You have to do it within, and that's exactly what's happening. And we have all this political garbage that's going on, and people don't even realize what's happening on the inside. So this whole new alliance that's forming, right? It's going to change things. Let me tell you something, folks. If God wasn't going to deal with all this, where all this would be headed, right? Why are you all so worried about what the Democrats are doing or about the Republicans are doing or what Joe Biden is doing? And it's just a matter of time before the United States completely collapses. I want to talk about Haiti. And You know, folks, I've been criticized. I know that prophets have spoke against this, and they've suggested that there's not going to be any type of food shortage. But, you know, this channel is not just about the United States. So you guys need to get that out of your head. This is dealing with the wealth transfer on a worldwide basis. And I have shared about prepping for food for the longest time. A lot of these other countries are hit first before it's going to hit the United States. God's people all over the world, that's where the warnings were from. When I sat there and I shared those videos, and I shared all these different channels and all these different prophetic words dealing with America and food shortages, and also not just in America, but all around the world, right? And I got criticized for that. But now you see what's happening, right? You saw what happened with Sri Lanka. If anybody was listening to me in Sri Lanka and they prepared themselves, right, they could avoid a lot of this. But that country has collapsed. There's all these countries all over the world that have food shortages. So for all those prophets, look where all these other countries are at right now. Let's go to Haiti. Fuel hits $12 per gallon as residents flee violence, prompting transportation strike. All right, and they got a lot of things going on over there. The week of gang battles kills dozens, deepens fuel crisis in Haiti. Here, this is thousands trapped without water in Haitian capital, official says. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to tell you guys, that this is happening all over the world. And for those of you who listen to those prophets and decided not to prep yourself, okay, you know what's going to happen. This is basically your final warning that these things are going to happen here. God has been showing people here in the United States and people all over the world that this is coming, okay, and to prepare yourself. Now I want to talk about what's going on in California. Right? Basically, California already is short thousands upon thousands of truckers. Right? Now we have this new law that's taken effect in California, right? And you force these truckers going from independent to working for a company, or they're going to have to move their business out of California. All right? And this is pretty serious. There's a lot of truckers talking about it on Twitter and everywhere else. And right now they are protesting. And so this is going to hurt the supply chain now as far as food. You know, this might affect like maybe canned foods that are shipped in or whatever. But folks, I'm telling you right now, if you live in California, you need to prepare yourself. They are already talking about the water shortages that are going on in California. All right, so you need to prepare yourself. Even if you have to go travel to another state or to another location to get the things that you need. And as far as when we get this first wave of finances that come in, from the cryptocurrency or from stocks or from wherever, folks, please make sure you have your plan together, what you're going to do. When it comes to food, water, you know, whether or not you're going to move out of your area, right? And how you're going to prepare your storehouse, right? And the storehouse is not just for you, it's for other people too as well. You need to figure out how you're going to do all of that. This is serious. I don't know what else to say. You know, so yeah, it is very important about who you listen to as far as prophetic wise, because if you listen to some of these knuckleheads and fools, right, you're going to put yourself in a very bad position. And I told you guys, I basically prophesied that if you continue to listen to some of these fools that are out there, you're going to fall right with them. All right, so I've been talking, and also too I've been sharing on the Patreon and so forth about what's going on in China and cash and these bank runs that are happening in China and other places, right? And then this article came out a couple days ago. Treasury research argues that a CBDC would reduce the threat of bank runs. Okay, so why is the United States talking about this, right? The threat of bank runs. They're planning something dealing with cash. We already know. I shared the video already about Jerome Powell talking about the rest of the world is going to a new financial system. The United States is planning to do the same thing in 2023. They're already planning it. So make sure that when it comes to your cash, again, figure out how much cash that you need to survive if something was wrong and you couldn't use your debit card, as far as your expenses dealing with food, water, bills, or whatever. So just make sure that you have your cash plan. Now, of course, we know cash is going to crash eventually, but at least you have it out of the bank. This is where you start shifting. It's just like crypto cycles or it's stock cycles where you're shifting money from one area to another. And this is all you're going to be doing. And like I said, when the wealth transfer overall begins to happen for the majority of people, right, that's when you're going to start implementing your plan, not just for stocking up on food and other items, but also the amount of cash and security that you're going to need to keep your guys self safe, but also to make sure you guys have cash on hand. If, say, for instance, you have to go to the grocery store and the bank system is down, or people start making runs on the bank, you already have cash on hand, so you don't have to worry about running to the bank because you've already have the cash. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Sandbox. And Sandbox, we've been talking about it over the last 5 or 6 days. We had the prophetic word from Dr. Maria Conwell that talked about the Sandbox is going to be toast, it's going to be worthless. And so since then, it's actually gone up, right? It's currently up to $1.19. And I think when I first started talking about it, it was at $1.16. And if you just currently look at the charts, and I told you guys that this was actually my first short. Like, I've never shorted anything, and there's all these opportunities. You can see over the last several days, it's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone up, it's gone down, it's gone up, gone down, and actually reached down to almost $1.04, right? So that was a big opportunity if you were buying and selling on the highs and the lows, right? As far as shorting wise, right? Now, shorting on Kucoin is different from regular shorting. There's no liquidation. And on other places, unless you're using your own money and you're shorting, that would require you to be liquidated. That's why I share with you folks about, making sure you're experiencing that when you see opportunities like this, to make sure to sell off and then get back in when you see it go back up high, right? So now it's been on this streak, and the streak that I see, that streak was due to, first of all, Sandbox was announcing Playboy was going to be part of they're going to use Sandbox to help build their part of the metaverse, and then also Tony Hawk, right, that famous skateboarder, right? So we've seen a big bounce from that, and it's been pretty steady, but I am still waiting for that announcement or some type of news dealing with Sandbox that's going to take it down, right? And I think that's separate from the rest of the cryptocurrency industry. I believe it's going to be a piece of news that's going to bring it down. And so, like I said, folks, there's been many opportunities, right? Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, to make some decent money off of this particular coin. But also, when I look at the rest of the industry, see, folks, I've never really did anything with shorting. But now that, my eyes been kind of open about Kucoin and how it works, dealing with shorting, dealing with the 3S and the 3 longs. Once I started buying and trading the shorts and the longs on Kucoin, my eyes just opened up, and I see all this opportunity to make a lot of money, especially in this volatile market right now. If you have not, and that's one of the things is that I thought about, maybe I should be sharing when I'm buying and selling, but I'm still a student learner, right? I just shared the information. Hey, this is a prophetic word about this. I'm going to take out a short position out on Kucoin. I actually took one out on Phoenix too as well. But actually, Kucoin is the better site to do that because there's no liquidation. If you happen to make a mistake and it happens to jump up, if you happen to make a mistake, at least you're not being liquidated, and you can just wait for that opportunity for that price to either go up or down, whether you're longing or you're shorting. I'm still expecting this news that's going to bring the Sandbox down. Now, of course, we had Disney, and if you guys don't know, Disney selected Polygon, right, to participate in Disney's 2022 Accelerator program, which deals with help developing the metaverse. All right, so this was kind of like industry news that kind of uplifted, metaverse cryptocurrencies. So before the news came out, it was hovering around the 54 cents area, 55 cents, and then actually pushed it up to about the 72 cents area, and then now it's just kind of hovering around that 69 cents, right, for the last day or so. And so it didn't push it up. And I'm watching some other YouTubers that are talking about this. They all thought that Polygon was just going to skyrocket, but it didn't. We're in a bear market too as well. I think that if the things that weren't going on with Bitcoin like I said, Bitcoin rules the crypto markets, right? So it's still hovering around that 20,000 mark, and we're still waiting. There's just all these issues with Bitcoin. You know, you got the whole thing with the Celsius and the bankruptcy that's going on, and how those assets, I mean, they're really in the hole on this thing. So a lot of these companies may not see any of their money, and the people that are in Celsius may not see anything, may not get any of their money back. It just depends. Then you have what's going on with Voyager. Who knows what's going to happen with that? I know some of you guys have told me you guys were in Voyager and your funds are currently locked up. And, you know, what the industry really needs is, you know, Bitcoin to basically go on a bull run. And I think if Bitcoin was to go on a bull run right now, I think Voyager would probably open back up, and maybe won't be so bad for those who are involved in Celsius, right? And then we still have this Mount Gox, right? This potential black swan of over 140,000 Bitcoin that could potentially be dumped onto the market. Some people say some people are going to hold, some people are going to want cash, so they're going to have to sell. We don't know how this is, but this is going to take place in August. So the other dates that I'm currently looking for is July the 26th and 27th. That's where we have the Federal Reserve Board meeting. The markets are already starting to figure out that there's going to be, you know, that they could raise the points by, they could raise the rates by 100 basis points, right? But still, leading up to that meeting, you're probably going to see a lot of red in the market. And of course, after they announce what they're going to do, then you're going to see a bull run, right? Which will probably start happening depending on when they announce it, whether it's on the 26th or the 27th. But on the 28th, you also have the gross domestic product numbers that are coming out. This is going to be very important, because if the numbers are worse, then it's going to show that there's a decline in our economy. So this is going to be very important. So we actually have a triple threat, you know, the 26th, the 27th, and the 28th. Who knows what's going to come out of the mouth of Jerome Powell? There's speculation that they're going to announce that they may announce that the United States may be in a recession. All right, so I don't know how it's all going to work out. But right now, I've been reducing more and more of my stock holdings. You know, there's only a certain few stocks that I'm holding on to. One of those is AMC. So look out for the 26th, the 27th, and the 28th. And I think once we get past this part, you know, both for the stock market and for the crypto markets, once we get past this, we should start to see these runs that we've been expecting. Right now, as far as the Bitcoin crash to zero, like I said, I know that there's still a couple scenarios that I'm looking to happen, whether it goes down to zero or not. You know, it doesn't really matter. We just got to get past this 26th, 27th, 28th. If it was going to go down at any point in time, that would probably be around the time that it would. You know, but there could be another black swan event that could bring it down that low, or begin the process of taking it down that low. And then it continue on into August, and maybe hitting zero in August. And, you know, I listened to just a lot of different people, folks. I spent a lot of time listening to people who are doing charts and who are doing technical analysis, and different people talking about these events that could bring down Bitcoin, or these events that could make Bitcoin take off. And so we don't really know how it's all going to play out. You know, for me, I'm looking forward to some of these things beginning to happen. We're already in the middle of July, and we have about 10 more days before, you know, we start to hear from the Federal Reserve. And I think once we get through that, once we get past that part, I think we'll be fine. And so, like I said, and for a while now, for the last couple months, there have been a lot of technical analysis that are saying that Bitcoin can go down anywhere from 10 to 16,500. I know somebody was trying to tell me, somebody prophesied it was going to go down to 12,000. Look, folks, there's already people that have been saying that looking at technical analysis, that could be a possibility that we could see it that low. You know, everything is so weird, everything is so volatile, and there's all these different prophecies and prophetic words, and trying to put it all together and then trying to formulate something has been very, very difficult. And that's why I say, folks, I'm taking this thing day by day and try to read the charts and watch other YouTubers who are looking at the charts and try to come up with my own assessment of how things are going to go. And so that's why I can't deal with absolutes. because if you deal with absolutes, you're going to end up getting it wrong. And that's why so many prophets are wrong, because they prophesy in absolutes. So we'll see if we get a recession announcement. We'll see what happens to the markets leading up to that. I think there's going to be a lot of good opportunities for the cryptocurrency markets. And one of the things that I will get into later on is about self-custody. Because we saw what happened when Bitcoin dropped down to 17,600. It destabilized a lot of platforms. I'm going to look at the different platforms that we have been discussing dealing with the Bitcoin buy limit orders. It's going to be important down the road in the future that we need to really start thinking about self-custody and getting your cryptocurrency into a hard ledger. But it's going to take time and learning. And there's still a lot of people that are just now learning how to use platforms and trading cryptocurrencies, and they haven't even yet begun the process to learn how to send it back and forth to maybe to a different exchange. So that's something that definitely need to learn. If you don't know how to do it, you can at least look it up on YouTube. You don't have to go out and worry about it so much right now, but to start learning about it, right? Start looking up videos on YouTube about how to use a hard wallet, how to use a Ledger Nano X, and just watching it and getting familiar with how it's used. So when you do go out and get one and you put yourself into a position to start transferring some of your cryptocurrency. Now, of course, XLM and XRP, and there's a number of other cryptocurrencies that are really, really cheap to transfer in without those extra costs. If you try to transfer like Shiba Inu, you try to transfer in, like Baby Doge, and you only got like $50 each, you're going to lose potentially half of your cryptocurrency when you're transferring in to a hard wallet. So some of those cryptocurrencies, I'm just holding on and sell them off, and that'll be it. What's going to happen is, here down the road in the future, it's going to get cheaper to send stuff over the Ethereum blockchain because of what's coming with the merger that's going to happen in mid-September, right? So that's when you're going to see a lot of the fees and stuff, the fees to transfer over the Ethereum blockchain is going to be a lot cheaper. So that is all that I have for today, folks. I have a number of other videos coming that I'm working on that I'll be pumping out all weekend long. So I thank you guys for listening. God bless. TC out.